All right, guys, I want to bring you in here. We have a 2015, it's an Audi Q7. It's got the 3-liter supercharged V6. The complaint is warm air coming out of the vents with the AC on. So we already confirmed that. I did the testing. I want to bring you in and kind of go over it. So I'm gonna turn the car on. AC is on, low, AC is on. It's got warm air coming out of the vents. Obviously you can't feel that, only I can, but trust me, there's warm air coming out of those vents. Let's go over what kind of compressor this thing uses, how it works, and what we should look for and how we should test it, okay? Come over here. So, a couple things. I have the high side and low side hooked up to the ports on the car, okay? And that gives me the actual pressure in the system. That is used to diagnose the system and check and verify if the pressures are in range, if they're out of range, and pinpoint a diagnostics, okay? So, and there's a couple things that we have to make sure that's gonna dictate this pressure. Is the compressor on, you know what I'm saying? Or is the compressor not running? So, right now, according to the scan tool, and I'm gonna show you in a second, the compressor is being commanded on and it's being controlled by the control module, okay? But if you look over here, your low side and high side pressures are equalized in 112 and they're not moving. They're sitting there like they're static. They should be dynamic right now. They should be constantly moving and changing based on conditions. Today is pretty mild outside, it's like 70 degrees or so. I say between 30 and 35, 25 to 35. The low side should be, depending on the conditions and the command of this compressor, we should be there. You know, it could be at 40, 50, because this is a variable speed compressor, okay? So high side, same thing, you know, 150 to 250. Somewhere in that range would be acceptable and normal. The problem is we don't have either, and the pressure's static, it's not changing, okay? So what we need from there, we need to make sure that the compressor has what it needs to operate. So, like I said, this compressor, it variably changes the compression, and there's a valve on the side of the compressor, okay, on the side of the compressor, that it's basically a refrigerant restrictor, okay? So it restricts the amount of refrigerant going into the compressor to be compressed. The compressor then forces it out, it discharges it to the condenser up here. Condenser does this work. It sends it to the evaporator core. It does this thing, and then the compressor sucks in that refrigerant and then compresses it back out, okay? That's how the system works. So that's why we should have some kind of pressure differences, or we don't. So on this compressor, there's not a clutch. The hubs and spool is spinning at all times, but it does not have a clutch on it, so there's no coil that activates the clutch and engages it. It actually has a valve on the side. Like I said, it's a variable valve compressor. It restricts the amount of refrigerant going into the compressor. So what we found was, what we do is, like the compressor is commanded by the computer via a pulse width modulation, okay, PWM. Therefore, this valve is, when it's controlled, it's not on 100%. It doesn't have full battery voltage at all times, okay? It's pulsed power at times. It's being pulsed at a certain frequency. So, and you need a scope to see that command. So the next step is, we know we have a vacuum and a compression problem on the compressor, but does it have a command to operate? So we have a lab scope, nothing fancy, just a Vantage Ultra. And let me turn off this one right here. So let me go what channel I'm on. All right, I'm in channel 2. As you can see here, you getting the signal, the pulse width modulation from the ECM. So we have that. It looks great. That signal looks amazing, and that confirms it. I'll speed up the signal so it's faster. But you can see, this tells me there's a problem with that valve and that compressor. There's no doubt about it. See, either the valve itself is bad, or the crankshaft in that compressor has snapped off, so it's not able to compress the refrigerant. and send it out to the condenser up here. So, or the valve itself is stuck and no refrigerant can get through. There's something mechanically or electrically wrong with that valve, okay? The problem is that valve is not sold separately through Audi. It's only through the compressor. The only repair we're stuck with, the option is going with an aftermarket compressor or going back with an OEM supplier or the actual OE dealership compressor, which would be about $2,000, okay? This customer does have an extended warranty, Carshield. So we're gonna, obviously our shop, we're gonna present them with an Audi factory compressor. Carshield is from them. They'll determine what they're gonna do. Most likely, they're gonna say, hey, we wanna provide you an aftermarket cheap compressor, or go ahead and fix it. We'll find out, we'll submit a claim. I'll actually get back to you. Maybe I will record, you know what? Let's record that conversation. See how the conversation goes, bring you into it. I'll call them, submit a claim, tell them what we found, and we'll see what they say. They may say, hey, I want an aftermarket choice. I want an OE compressor used. We'll see what they say, what they pay. But I don't know what this customer has. It may not even be covered. You know, I don't know what their package includes. If it's just a powertrain coverage, they're gonna be denied. So we'll make the call together. We'll do it here in a little bit because people are going to lunch. But I wanted to bring you in, kind of go over the system to show you, hey, you know, we're not guessing here. We're actually testing. We proved out through data and analysis that this compressor needs replaced to solve this issue. What we don't know is there another problem in the system? Did that compressor come apart, right? And it's through metal throughout this condenser. I don't know that. The only way I'm gonna know that is if I take the compressor off and take it apart and inspect the oil. If the oil's nice and clean, there's no metal fragments, I'm happy. Compressor it is, condenser, don't worry about it, it's fine. But if there's metal or that oil is dark and black, it's burnt, it's gonna need a condenser at minimum, okay? So that stuff is to be determined. I don't know, I can't see through it. There's no way to predict it. The only way to know is actual data, factual data. And that's what we do here, is factual data. The data tells me compressor is faulty. From there, we'll move it and re-inspect. But I'll bring in, when we do the conversation, we'll continue this on. So we'll see you in a little bit.
Hey guys, Mike here at Zarn Automotive. We will be doing a Carshield warranty claim today for this customer. He brought in his Audi Q7 because the AC was blowing warm from the vents. So we did an AC system check, so it had a 100 psi of pressure present. The PWM signal is good in there. So the AC compressor has no compression, and the suction pressure change is present while in operation. So testing has confirmed that the AC compressor is mechanically faulty. At this point, we won't know if there's any metal till we pull it off. So we're going to be doing a Carshield warranty for this customer today. We're going to just be recording the phone call, see what they cover, what they don't. So let's get on it. Hi Allison, my name's Mike. I'm calling you here from Zarn Automotive.
Alright, what can I do for you?
Hey, I've got a customer here that I need to start a claim for.
Alright, what is the last 6 digits of the VIN number?
It's going to be a 020845.
And your make and model on the vehicle?
It's going to be a 2015 Audi Q7.
And the name of the shop?
Zarn Automotive.
What is the current mileage on the vehicle?
The current mileage is 124,347 miles.
And what is the customer's concern with the vehicle?
The customer states that the AC is blowing warm from the vents.
Alright, and what did you find when you took a look at it?
The technician confirmed that the AC system has 100 psi of pressure present. We got signal. So we found that the AC compressor has no compression and that the suction pressure change is present while in operation. So testing has confirmed that the AC compressor is mechanically faulty. Now, one thing that I got to mention on this is I won't know if that's coming apart internally or if there's going to be metal in the system until we pull that AC compressor off.
Alright. Alright, let me check customer's contract for coverage. Give me just 1 second, I'll be right back with you.
Alright, thank you much. Alrighty, so the technician did not see any leaks. All the evidence points toward the direction of that the AC compressor is internally inoperational. So internally mechanically faulty.
And what is the part number you have on the compressor?
The part number I have for the compressor is going to be a 4 Echo 0 2608 05 Apple Roger.
All right, and what is the price you have on that?
The price of that compressor is going to be $1,999.98.
And what are we looking for? Any other parts you need on that?
Yeah, there's a few other things I need to add on here. So we need AC compressor oil for the compressor. That's going to be a part number Golf 05 230 0 Apple 2.
And the price?
$81.41.
All right, the next part?
And then I have a couple drive belts. Is that covered under their contract?
No.
Okay, all right, so we'll just skip the belts then. And then I've also got some refrigerant on here. Is that covered?
No. So Freon would not be covered unless it's leaking. So AC machine pulls it out, stores it, puts everything back once the repairs are done. So no.
Okay, so both the drive belts and the refrigerant is customer responsibility, correct?
Well, the reason the Freon's not covered is because it shouldn't need Freon. It's not leaking. The evac and recharge, the machine's going to pull everything out, store it inside the machine, and then filter it and put it back once the job is done. So it shouldn't be low if it's not leaking.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got some on the ticket, so I just need to know if it's covered or not.
No, we would not cover it.
Okay, all right.
But if it's something that's going to be charged to the customer, we would have to call them and let them know this is what you're going to be charged for and why we are not covered. So I would still need price and part number.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to be charged to the customer.
All right, yeah. Okay, let's start with the supercharger belt. It's going to be a 06 Echo 903.
No, not for that, because those are not covered under the contract at all. Those are always maintenance, but Freon is different. So I would just need the part number for the Freon.
All right, it's going to be a Union Nancy 3159.
And how many ounces?
5 ounces.
And how much per ounce?
$2.50.
All right, any other parts?
Nope, should just be the oil, the compressor, and then the refrigerant. And I've got some labor I need to add as well.
All right, and what are we looking at for the install?
I have a total of 4 hours. So for the AC compressor, that's 2 hours.
All right, how much on the evac and recharge?
1 hour.
All right, and diagnostic?
1 hour.
All right, anything else that needs to be added on here?
Yeah, I was going to see if you guys cover shop supplies.
No.
Okay, how about hazmat?
No.
Okay, and then taxes, do you cover those?
That I'm not sure, but the system will have that, so once I get everything entered in, it'll let me know like what we cover tax and if we cover.
Okay, all right, then we should be squared away here.
And you guys allow for shipped-in parts, or is customer responsible for the difference?
No, we won't use them. We need to use Audi parts on here.
All right, give me just a minute. Let me get everything entered in, get prices verified, and I will be right back with you.
All right, thank you much.
Yes, sir.
Got to watch out for these guys. They'll try and cheap out on you. It's called loss mitigation, people.
Which on a 10-year-old vehicle would be an aftermarket part. So we can reach out to the customer on our end. We can go over the out-of-pocket with them, kind of go over what their options are, and then once we have customer's authorization, we can give you a call back, go over final totals, and get you the authorization number.
All right, yep. Do your thing and give me a call back. Let me know what our authorization is and total coverage.
All right, yes, sir, that'll work. We will reach out to that customer and then give you a call back.
All right, thank you much.
Yes, sir, you're welcome.
All right, yes, ma'am. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, guys, that's it. You heard her. 10-year-old vehicle, loss mitigation, guys. It's 2015. It's not even really that old, but they want to use cheap aftermarket parts on this thing, and that's just something that we don't want to put our name on, you know. So that's pretty much it. sort of hoops that you got to jump through when you're doing a warranty claim like this on a vehicle. I'm sure all my service advisors feel me on this one. So until the next one, see ya.
All right, let's do a recap on that Q7, that Audi here. So you heard Micah, the first conversation with Carshield, and there was about 3 other conversations that took place. Charlie handled that actually. And basically we had to talk to the customer, and because they wouldn't give us a price, they wanted to call the customer, they wanted to persuade them using their parts, and that's the problem with, they wanted the customer to use the parts that Carshield wanted to provide, which we don't take in parts, that's not gonna happen. So we called the customer, look, hey, the only option we can give you is using an OEM compressor, which the good news is Denso makes the compressor for Audi. So that's what we put on there. So we got the customer, put this compressor on there, which is a Denso, which you can see here. If you look right here, what does that say? Denso. See, it's Audi symbol. So Denso makes the compressor for Audi, and that's what we end up doing. It saved them over $1,200 for this compressor alone. Okay. So we got with the insurance company. They would only pay like, I don't know, it was like $200-300 for this compressor, which you can't buy one for. So obviously the customer's gonna be out money. I believe their out of pocket was like $1,200 and the insurance paid like $1,300. So they covered a good portion of it, but they still left the customer for a pretty big bill for a compressor. And to be fair, there was the 2 belts, which like $100 probably is what they were responsible for. And they did cover the belt tensioner, which was bad. But here's that valve I was telling you about that goes in here. So you can kind of see what it looks like. See how it scrolls in and out. It reminds me like a TXV, thermal expansion valve. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It's electronic thermal expansion valve for the compressor. That's the easiest way to explain it. That's why you can see how it works. Kind of what it does, to be honest with you. It's electrically controlled. But if you work on any of the hybrids or electrical cars, they have electronic thermal expansion valves. Completely different. Going into it looks like an expansion valve, but it's electronic. So that's, if you work on these cars, you know that. I mean, if you work on hybrids or electric cars, you'll see it all the time. So, but that, anyways, so we replaced it with a Denso compressor. All went great, no issues. There was no metal in this. It's nice and clean. It's one thing you look for. Look for any metal, any debris. It's spotless in here. The oil looked good. There was nothing concerned me with this at all. So it turned out great, but this goes to show you, even though you have a extended warranty with like Carshield and Endurance, all that, they're not gonna pay the entire bill. They're gonna try to get that bill as low as they can for themselves to pay it. And they always have, they won't pay shop supplies, hazard pay, they won't pay that, or hazard chemicals they won't pay, and they only want to pay what they can get the part for, and that's the max they'll pay. Even though the part they choose is not a high quality part, let's say it costs them $300 a compressor, that's a max they'll pay toward the compressor you choose as a customer, which to me, that's their cop out. So just, and they'd like to pay a certain portion of labor and all that kind of stuff. And it's just one of those things, it's a game you play with the insurance companies. So here's what it is. I figure I bring in, at least you can hear how it works. Like I said, it took about 3 conversations to get that number from them. Then we okayed it with the customer and we proceeded to repair the vehicle. It turned out great, but I mean, how do you feel about it? You have extended warranty, still costs you $1,200 to do repair. Probably about $1,000 something, to be honest, without the belt on there. But either way, this is the norm. This is what we see. So if you do have an extended warranty company, expect to pay some money. Very, very few will pay it all. So till the next time, see ya.